the quartet that rendered that beautiful music. We really are meeting in unprecedented times during lockdown. And I really want to thank you, Bernadette, for coming up with this idea and others of virtual concerts. Indeed, it is Women's Month, a very significant month in the history of our country, where thousands of women, led by women of all cultural backgrounds, of all races, marched against the draconian past laws. Now, as we are here today, we all stand on their shoulders, on their brave shoulders. And while we mark that historic march, let us remember that women have fought, they have sacrificed for the liberation of this country. And that march is a symbol of many other sacrifices that women have made in this country. And I often say that I stand on the shoulders of my grandmother and my grandmothers who were domestic workers. I stand on the shoulders of my mother. I stand on the shoulders of my domestic worker who would look after my children so that I pursue my career. So indeed, our success is not because of our might, it's not because of our intelligence, but it is because throughout history, so many women have made sacrifices, many whose names will not be recorded in the history books. When we think of the arts and we think of music, the first songs that we heard were from women who took care of us. Whether it was when they had us on their backs, singing us the lullaby. If we were fortunate enough to go to a creche, it is all the nursery rhymes that they taught us. But all of us may not be as gifted as the artists that will perform today, but we know how art has nourished us from a very young age. Before we could talk, we followed the voices of our mothers. For some of us who've got children, you do know that when you walk into a room and you had left your baby with somebody else, the minute they hear your voice, you know, you can even see that they will lift their heads because your voice may signify some comfort or familiarity to them. We also know that through the history of our struggle in this country, music has been a form of protest. Poetry has been a form of protest. So for me, artists are our sage in terms of the wisdom that they have. But sometimes in the many years of torture and pain, they have been the soothing balm. They've also enabled us to express ourselves. When they say, you know, if you are a Christian, God listens to all prayer. And sometimes when you cannot even pray, you know, they hear you. Music and song is known to be not only soothing to us, but an expression of deep emotions. And we do know how music in the struggle, when you hear people singing Zenzile, even at this point in time, you know that they express a deep longing and a question of how long shall we suffer? When the slaves in the US sang, you know, by the rivers of Babylon, or in the Black church, when they sang Amazing Grace, you understood that all of them were reflecting what collectively in our consciousness was our longing for a better tomorrow. And I guess during this Women's Month, I would like to thank all the artists that have been part of this series, including those that are going to bless us, because art is our medicine, art is our expression, art reaches that part that sometimes you cannot even express in words. And an artist will just say the words and you can find healing. So thank you very much. We want to especially lift women artists. We do know that the struggle for many artists is real, especially during this time of COVID. We do know that the entertainment industry itself has been rocked and plagued by many reports of violence, of sexual harassment. So not only are we talking about what art can do, but we are saying our activism must also make sure that in fact we respect the arts, we respect the artists, and we protect all artists, especially women artists. Thank you for your gift, and thank you for using your gift to bless us and to heal us, especially in this time in the world that needs such enormous healing. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Lebo Ramafoko, what a joy. We are very grateful to have her introduce our program this afternoon. Welcome to our 13th Performing Lockdown, a virtual concert. Thank you, Lebo Ramafoko from Takano, formerly from Soul City. We really, really appreciate our support, and yeah, we wouldn't be the same without you. I'm gonna do something very quickly and then hand over to our first musician, who is the very talented Kenyan Maria Gakenye. But before that, I just wanted to briefly say that all our societies and religions that are founded on ethics, of which two ethics stand out for me. It's compassion and justice. And so we women, we called on during especially this Women's Month, but in general, as we lead our families, our communities and society, we must ensure our actions are always ethical, are compassionate and are just. We must demand the same of our leaders, of our families, of our lovers, to always be ethical, compassionate and just, especially towards us women, as we serve selflessly our loved ones and our country. On this note, I've got two poems for you today. The first one deals with menstruation. I wrote it 3 years ago for the 20th anniversary of the Commission for Gender Equality. And the second poem I'll read later. But I just wanted to repeat for us 3 principles, which is ethics, compassion, and justice. And this should govern, and as we reclaim these values back at the core of our lives and our societies, this is the only way in which we will save our country and ourselves one by one. So ethics, justice, and compassion. But now we're going to do a quick poem dealing with none other than menstruation. It is Women's Month. I suggest some of the gentlemen who must close their ears if they like, or indeed open it. It deals with menstruation. It's called So Routine, 3 years ago for the 20th anniversary of the Commission for Gender Equality. So routine. The color of my blood shimmers through full moon, less poignant than a Zenzile Khoisan portrait, and more like a child with wishbone, the off-patch crutch of hope. My body is a sacred vessel that ritually nourishes the earth with minerals, water, unadulterated, pure pigment, like December-only fruits, berries, bleeding cherried optimism through greedy, swollen lips, red everywhere, sweet as the native scent of cardamom in steaming starch, turmeric that colors expressionisms, stick cinnamon, a tree bark, coarse, sticky sweet, against an indigenous gourmand's tongue. A moon myself, I wax and wane, wail, I birth, I die, through lives sodden, steeped in with women's blood. Each dreadful suffering, torture, a cervix to my transformation, eventual liberation of self and all. Mother Divine, I serve through you. That was my poem, so routine, dealing with menstruation and other matters. We are now going to go to one of my favorite musicians, Maria Gakenye. Would you unmute yourself? And we've let in a bunch of more people.
Hello everyone. So I'm Maria Gakenye, a vocalist from Kenya. Today I've selected 3 songs from my favorite vocalists who are also female singers, and I choose to celebrate them in this session. Yes. So my first song is actually Malaika. It was written by Fadhili Williams, a Zilizopendwa artist from Kenya, but was popularized by Miriam Makeba. So I hope you'll enjoy it. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Nami nifanyeje? Kijana mwenzio, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. Pesa zasumbua roho yangu, pesa zasumbua roho yangu. Ningekuoa dada we, ningekuoa kaka we, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. Baduria de, 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 baduria kidege, ukuwaza we kidege, kidege, ukuwaza we kidege. Nami nifanyeje? Kijana mwenzio, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa we kidege. Nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa we kidege. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That was absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Shall we applaud for her? We really love Maria's music. She composes her own songs as well. Thank you, Maria. We're coming back for round 2 and round 3, so don't run away. And please stay for more from Maria. We're now going to go to a young man, a very gifted poet, an ally to women. He's also a producer, a man of many talents, Riccardo Temane. We are all yours with your first poem. You need to unmute your mic.
Hi, everyone. Name is Riccardo, Artistic Director and founder of Grace of Destiny. I'm a professional award-winning artistic director in theater and music and dance. So today I'm going to share a very sensitive theater poetry that I've wrote that speaks about women who are under abuse, who are facing difficulties and end up not getting out of that chain. So for me, it's more of a close story that speaks to my own life because I've experienced the same situation. So here it goes. It's called TikTok. After slaving on a hot coal stove to prepare food for him, she would wait in vain and counting the seconds as the clock ticked, tocked, ticked, tocked, ticked, tocked, ticked, talked towards another day, and he guzzling a few, and in seconds you would be in a state of intoxication, possessed by the liquefying demons and doors like in the wild, wild west. Flicks would flung open, and soon she would become his target, and like an African drum, he beat her. He pounded her rhythmlessly over and over and over and over and over again until her skin broke out into a bloody spill, tears eroding her cheeks, followed by orgasmic screams and shrills. And every day she'd wake up to try to hide from flying pots and chairs, followed by consecutive fists, blow after, blow after, blow after, blow after, blow after, blow. She rolled with the blows until he broke her jaws. And every day she'd wake to blame herself. Maybe I should have put more food on the table, and maybe I should have listened more when this would not be happening. From teary eyes to red eyes to blue eyes to black eyes to no more vision in her eyes. Now she slowly watched as the soul of her husband slowly died, and she cried with her mind, and she cried with her body, and she cried with her mind, body, and soul. She cried with her mind, body, and soul. And the kids, all four of them, would huddle up in the bedroom with palms to their ears to shield themselves for the mother's painful screams. And the oldest, he was 11, he'll try to intervene, but he'll get shouted, "Tula!" With his face pressed against the wall. And the neighbors would call in their kids, shut their doors and close their window curtains, and become magnified in front of the TV as immune to the painful screams for help. And the kids would ask, "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy laugh no more? Remember, he used to put us on his lap and tell us stories, and sometimes would brought us chocolate that crumbled. Mommy, what happened?" And she'll tell him it's going to be okay, and it's going to be fine, and it's going to be all right. Through thick and thin, through sickness and health, until death do us part, she kept a part of the deal until one morning she did not wake up and the sun did not shine, and the neighbors came dressed in black to pay the last respects, and I overheard them say, "Ah, shame." But "Ah, shame" was all they could say. "Ah, shame" was all they could say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Riccardo. Thank you very much. And the problem with virtual concerts is that you can't have many people applauding, clap, 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 but really, that was very moving. People will be writing comments both here. Like Lebo says, it was very poignant in the chat here as well as on the Facebook live stream itself. Thank you, Riccardo, for your being such
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Young ally to us. We've had young Esther Adams, 19-year-old classical musician and also popular musician, Esther Adams, join us. And as soon as she's set up, she can slot in. We're going to go to another friend and anti-apartheid activist, veteran Zenariah Barends, when you're ready. Brilliant. Zenariah is going to do one of 3 poems for us now.
Thanks for having me, Bernadette. And happy to
Zeni, your sound is too soft. Can you turn your sound up?
Okay. Is it better now?
Much better, yes. Thank you. Please.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and happy to be here with my fellow artists today. The first poem I'm going to be doing has been written specially for today, actually, called No Embrace. It's very short, and I will read this one before we do our others later. No Embrace. My life is filled with roads untaken. Now that accelerated loss is our constant companion, no longer an indifferent stranger. We could not say goodbye. How will I be remembered by those who could not embrace me in my final hours? As I walk alone, which road will hold the memory of my footprints and regrets. Thank you.
Ooh, Zenny, thank you. That was very brief and very poignant. Thank you very much for that. Zenzile Khoisan, are you there? We're ready for your poem when you are. Are we waiting for Esther Adams to just indicate whenever she's ready to play some music for us? We apologize. Trudy Rushin couldn't make it. She has flu. We hope it's flu. So welcome, Zenzile Khoisan. It's such a pleasure to have you.
I'm unmuted.
You better, yes. Please go ahead. You're welcome to introduce yourselves as well.
All right. Well, I'm just Zenzile. I'm a child here of Cape Town, and one of the people who are doing the knowledge, learning from everybody here, and hopefully I'll be a little wiser as I grow younger in this encounter. The poem I'm going to read today, to the beginning of the poem, it comes from my collection, There Are No More Words, a collection of poems which was in fact launched last year at the castle. It's a poem to one of the heroines who, in my view, should become a space of study in terms of the intensity of the cauldron that we're in. It's Go Well into the Evermore Strong Woman. It's for Winnie Mandela. Go well into the evermore strong woman, sentinel force of resistance, of the spirit of no surrender, no submission. Go well, Hambagatle Mama Winnie, guardian of the damned, fierce and dignified lioness. You wrote the new dawn in fire. Let the evermore gently gather you, resilient herald, as you travel forward, truly acquainted in your tasks, acquitted in your tasks, your formidable and steadfast defense of weary warriors. You led as a true field marshal by any means necessary, by any means necessary. You did not mince your words, lick the master's boots. You did not leave your compatriots in the firing line to dine at the table of the devil, strike a deal with Faust. Warrior woman who won the hearts of many soldiers, queen of hearts and clubs, you gave us dignified bearing, stunningly, strikingly alluring, even in your fatigues. Your words struck the cowards in the throat, spurred on tired comrades. Kaise kure, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela. There is a guard of honor forming in every village, in every town. There is a rising of the oppressed in salute to an inspirational warrior who looked unwavering at the abyss. Kaise kure, Mama Winnie. You gave illiterates power. You walked into the oppressor's lair with ultimatums. You who fired the imagination of the harmed, tortured masses. Go well, woman of words and fearless leader of the damned. Kaise kure, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela. May your spirit fly free through the evermore.
Thank you, Zenzile, brother. That was very rousing. Thank you very much. We are now going to have our quartet. Sibo, there you are. Our ensemble, when they're ready, there we go. We're going to spotlight them. We have Mama D. We have Jazz Mokoena. We've got Ms. Buda bass. And we've got black violin. The JCFI ensemble, I just called them a quartet because there's 4 of them. But please, ensemble, we are all yours. Thank you very much. Gorgeous. Thank you very much. Zeni says your music is just simply wonderful. Thank you. If you will permit me, I will quickly do a short poem. And then we'll have Maria Gakenye with some more music afterwards. This poem is called Mosaic. I originally wrote it last year at exactly the same time for Neil Newman, who passed very untimely. But indeed, I live in Elaine Salo's former house. I bought it. And she passed at the same time, and my late mentor and friend, Brenda Sham. So for all the people, all our loved ones, our friends and comrades who've passed, this poem is called Mosaic, and it goes like this. Loved ones falling like imaginary friends and milk tea. My heart a stress ball, flung at surfaces, live boomerangs in the outback. After all these years, I am mosaic, without plaster or glue, just hair strands of memories and longing as I wave you, beloved, farewell for now. That was my very brief poem called Mosaic for all the ones who've passed. We are now going to have something more upbeat. Maria Gakenye, Maria, will you start your video with apologies? There you go. I'm trying to spotlight you. Go. We are all yours, Maria. Thank you very much.
Hello, so I'm back, and this time round I'm going to sing another song by one of my favorites, Etta James, and the song is I'd Rather Go Blind. Something told me it was over. When I saw you and that girl talking, something deep down in my soul said, cry, girl. When I saw you and that girl walking around, ooh, I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me. Time ooh, so you see, I love you so much that I don't want to watch you leave, baby. Most of all, I just don't want to be free at all. Ooh, I was just sitting here thinking of your kiss and your warm embrace. When the reflection in the glass that I held to my lips now, babe, revealed the tears on my face, yeah. And baby, I'd rather be blind than to see you walk away, from me, yeah. Woo. And baby, I'd rather be blind than to see you walk away from me, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, Maria, that was just gorgeous. Everybody loves your voice. And people who have to go and fetch their children don't want to go either, they just stay. Well, thank you. That was epic. Oh, we have to go now. We're going to get more from Maria, so don't get despondent. She's not running away. We want to go to Riccardo. There you are. I'm going to spotlight you. Can you unmute yourself? There you go. Riccardo Temane is going to do his next poem for us. Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I'm going to do another poem. It's called Covered, and it's also called Our Minds. So it's basically focusing on our dark spaces in our minds when we are lost. It goes like this. Our minds, our dark home. Our minds, our dark home. The common sound of an African bed, bread and soul, our African breath. The voices of encouragement, disconnect temptational outcasts. Our lives are worth no cost. Our minds, our dark home. Our minds, our dark home. Listen, Mo Africa. Listen to the birds above the flowing winds. Is it not life above the hills? Is it not the sound of a humble nation, we mean generation that needs concentration to achieve a previous mistaken mission? We are not about avoiding the minds that create good dreams, but we are about positivity and responsibility to change dark minds and homes into a brighter mind for all. A mind, a mind, a mind, a mind, a place of solitude that contributes free expression of thought. A thought in a dark home. Ikhaya elimnyama elidabukisa inhliziyo ngokukhanya. Mamelani ma Africa. Listen to the knocking of knowledge sounding to deliver a message. In us, the division of age spears and pierces the mind of a youthful space. Our minds, our dark home. Our minds, our dark home. Change in us is crying, weeping and overpowering the reflection, ripping the wicked off their comfort nest. Rest is about to fall over an African soul soldier to triumph a musical instrument over an enemy's head. Free Mu Africa, freedom in our minds, our dark home, for light has come. Our minds, our dark home. Thank you.
Thank you, the multi-talented Riccardo Temane. Much appreciated. We're now going from poet to poet to keep you warm in this cold winter's day. Zenariah Barends, we're all yours. We call her Zeni for short.
Thank you.
And she sings.
But I'm not singing today. We leave that to Maria. Thanks, Maria. Fast Forward is the next poem. His name was Llewellyn. He was 12. I was 8, maybe 7. Walking the daily path between school and my aunt's house in Queens Road, he joined me. I was glad for the company. I'd seen him many times before, a friend of my cousin's. As we walked under the bridge, at the top of the concrete staircase, he pushed me against a wall. Up went my school dress, his hands clawing me. In shock, I whimpered, did not scream. He let go. Lucky me. Fast forward. 11 years old, still in primary school, walking to the shop, 5 minutes from my home. The sun was shining, friends playing in the street. I'm coming now, wait for me. On my return, 2 grown men stopped, surrounded me. They did not touch. Threatening words fell. I froze. They left. Happy to have scared the little girl. I ran, my heart exploding. I got away, joined my friends, skipping in the street, did not mention it. Fast forward, 13 years old. First week at high school, as the matric boys grabbed the new girls, walking past them in the corridor, running the gauntlet, a ritual of ages past, his hand at my mouth, while his hand explored my secret places. I bit down, hard, the taste of blood in my mouth. He screamed, I let go. I found out his name. Those boys never touched me again. Did not report it. A few years on, he was stamping my books at our public library. Handsome, smiling, ever so charming. Did not recognize me. I wondered if I had left a scar on that offending hand. Fast forward, 18 years old. First year university, swimming in the pool, fellow students, male of course, shouting ugly, threatening words of what they would like to do to us. This time, I did not turn away. Furious, I jumped out of the pool, followed them, told them, stay away from us. They laughed and swore at me. I got away, did not report them, did not take names. Fast forward, 27 years old, 2 babies sleeping in the next room, in my bedroom, held down, hand across my face, my nose, I could not breathe, head being knocked against the ground again and again and again, close to oblivion, the 6th time within holy matrimony. If I survive, I'm leaving this time. That's what I did. I had to leave my dear pink heart behind. Years later, he apologized. Too little, too late. Now, 57 years old, I've survived so far. There, but for the fortune, fear lurks just beneath the surface of bravado. Can you be trusted not to hit me with your violent words and hands when I least expect it? Be warned, I will not walk away silently, not this time. Expect my resistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Zenariah Barends. A very disturbing and moving poem, which we can only empathize with. We have going from Zenariah now to Zenzile Khoisan. Are you ready, Zen? Zenzile? Can you unmute yourself?
Mute. Okay, yeah, here I am.
We're ready when you are. Can you put yourself in the screen so we can see you?
Okay, yeah, let me put myself in the
That's
screen.
great. Thank you.
Okay, and there we go. All right, I'm very, we're living in a time where, and must I unmute myself again?
No, you're fine. We can hear you. Thank you. You may go ahead.
Okay, right, I'll take that off. Okay. Okay, we're living in a time when it's, where we are grappling with a lot of different things, and one tends to wonder what it's all about. And sometimes we feel like less, and everything feels like less. Everything feels like we've lost something, or loss is ever present, being stripped mind. And this one is the other side of that loss, which I think comes to where we are at today. It's called We Are More. We're more than fodder, pliable instruments twisting on the puppeteer's strings, expendable pieces with limited utility, shifted at will by shape-shifting power gamesters. We are more than cattle to be prodded, divested of agency, stripped of will, consumers of half-baked promises, willing sacrifices on the altar of expediency. We are more than the din of empty vessels, chanting the well-rehearsed catechism, rabble to be roused, the discordant clatter of useful idiots farmed out on fool's errands. We are the vulnerable, fragile fighters, nurtured on ideals, imperfect survivors of our rendezvous with psychopaths, grown in vinegar times and fed with lemon, our only honey, the sweetness in the rock of principles. We are still alive, sometimes walking around shell-shocked, weary with despair, as charlatans grow a second epidermis, gleefully dance as we weep for the playtime they've purloined, the act of robbing our children of joy. Yes, we are more. We are like a love song, revealed in the rhythm, in the gentle rhythm of butterflies. Liberated, they flap the anthem of a coming time where hearts take flight on gossamer wings. We are more than an inconvenience. We are more than the writing on the wall you cannot read. We are the growing conscience of a terrorized nation. We come bearing a message. So listen carefully.
Thank you, Zen. We kind of gobsmacked, we're waiting for more, but that was the end of it. Thank you so much. You do magic with words. Thank you very much. We're now going to go to our quartet, the JCFI Ensemble. We are all yours when you're ready. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you very much. That was our fabulous JCFI ensemble with Buda bass, Ms. Jazz Mokoena, Mama D, and Black Violin. Thank you very much. Before we go over to our favorite young Kenyan, Maria Gakenye, I wanted to briefly share with you a short poem by Young Lee, and it is called One Heart, and it is Young Lee, One Heart. Look at the birds, even flying is born out of nothing. The first sky is inside you, open at either end of day. The work of wings was always freedom, fastening one heart to every falling thing. That is the very short poem called One Heart. I love freedom and value it greatly. We want to go to my favorite young Kenyan, Maria Gakenye, please, when you're ready. Turn on your video. Yeah.
Hello again. So for this last song, I'm going to ask all of you to dance a little where you are. I'll be singing another song by one of my favorites, Sade, and this is Sweetest Taboos.
Just before you start, don't forget there's an encore as well, so we'll be wanting some more from you, if possible. But yes, we'll take Sade. Thank you very much.
I tell you now, will you keep on loving me? If I tell you how I feel, will you keep bringing out the best in me? You give me the sweetest taboos. Giving me the sweetest taboos, too good for me. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt like this before. There's a quiet storm, that is you. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt this hot before. It's giving me something, and that's taboo. You give me the sweetest taboo. That's why I'm in love with you. You giving me the sweetest taboo. Sometimes I think you're just just too good for me. Don't let it slip away. Anything for me to do, don't let it slip away. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt like this before. There's a quiet storm, as big as you. There's a quiet storm, and it never felt this hot before. You're giving me something, and that's taboo. You give me the sweetest taboos. That's why I'm in love with you. You giving me the sweetest taboos. You're good for me. You got the biggest heart. Sometimes I think you're just too good for me. Every day is Christmas, and every night is a New Year's Eve. Will you keep on loving me? Will you keep on bringing out the best in me? Thank you.
Absolute gorgeous talent. Absolutely stunning, gorgeous talent. On the Facebook live stream, people are running comments. They're from all over the world, including a beautiful woman called June Barrett, and they just love the music and the poetry. So thank you very much. That was absolutely stunning. Maria Gakenye. For those who've joined us, I'm Bernedette Muthien, and we're having our 13th performing lockdown virtual concert. We are now going to go to Riccardo Temane, sorry. It's multitasking. Lockdown makes you multitask. Mobile phone, notepads, Facebook.
Hi everyone, once again.
Welcome,
I hope
Riccardo.
everything is good. I mean, the concert is on fire. Everything is going so well, and I'm enjoying just watching the different talents. So I'm having another poem. It's a mixed match of my poem. It's called Me, Myself, and I. So here it goes. It's me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I, situated up above the moon like the stars. My subhuman led me to subdue my enemy's deeds, but subconsciously my subliminal couldn't divert my inner submission from these words. It's me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Every time I speak, I'm lyrically critical. The pinnacle of being a revolutionary paradigm. Beyond anything ever studied that's metaphysical. Man, stop minority, I'm not politically minimal, but obviously terminology that are statistical. I'm manufactured to be imperfectly subliminal, transmitted by monopolized media or visual. So I'll riddle hypocritically pitiful criminals of utilizing typical rituals with false pretense in attempts to be spiritual different. It's me, myself, and I, situated up above the moon like the stars. My subhuman led me to subdue my enemy's deeds, but subconsciously, my subliminal couldn't give me from these words. I sit day and night and I think to myself, why? Where am I? I'm locked, that I breathe. The voice that I find is dark and I cannot see. My eyes are blinded by the world that sucks me in. I am pregnant, giving birth to sin, and nothing more but death arouses from the graves. It's me, myself, and I. My voice is loud but yet so silent. I call to those who cannot see. I whisper to the ears that are not hearing anything. I knock on the doors but no one opens. I am in this dark world. Listen to my voice, see my face. Mirror reflects, this color is blind. It's me, myself, and I. I speak to those who cannot hear, but feel the pain of truth, the feeling of losing one close to your heart. And I say, it's me, myself, and I. Help me, for I'm drowning from this misery of pain, surrounded by misery of sin, colluded by dignified worries of who I was before I was and who I am today. It's me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Save me from this voice, for it's so loud. Save me from this voice, it is so loud. Because it's me, myself, and I, situated up above the moon like the stars. My subhuman led me to subdue my enemy's deeds, but subconsciously, my subliminal couldn't divert their inner submission from these words. It's me, myself, and I. Thank you.
Riccardo, whoa, that was very powerful. And looking at the faces of people, they found it very moving. Thank you, Riccardo. Don't forget to check the Facebook live stream for comments as well. We are going to continue on our path. We have Zenariah Barends followed by Zenzile Khoisan. And maybe we should make a little break between the two Z's. So we're going to have Zenariah Barends, and then we're going to have Maganthrie Pillay, who's just joined us from another event. And then we're going to have Zenzile Khoisan, if that's okay. So, Zenariah Barends, we are all yours.
Thank you. My last two offerings were very serious, so this one is slightly lighter, and it's called Restless Nomad. From a chrysalis, you emerged, restless nomad. You fell into my accidental arms. My pressing touch gave weight to emaciated limbs, hungry for heat and affirmation. Happy to be dipped unheralded into the fleeting oblivion of poetry, speeches, hot springs, and delirium-inducing kisses. You walked north and away to take on the troubled world. No visible ripples in your cool water. Now we sit reminiscing, turning on that strange time. The irony, so delicious, is not lost on me. Unmoored, we see each other clearly through hazy eyes that long for sleep. Sharing tasty spices through transient words that link our disconnected lives. From deep underground, opportunistic desire ascends, blocked by friendship and memory, captured under skin's fragility, mingled with kindness. The care we now bestow is gentler as we stare down our mortality. Thank you.
Whoa, Zenariah, indeed, as we stare down on mortality. No joke about the fact that it's even in the middle of a giant pandemic. We have been joined by Maganthrie Pillay, who is a filmmaker, poet, playwright. In fact, we were at university together 100 years ago. Maganthrie's going to unmute her mic. And then she's going to do 2 short poems for us. And then we're going to follow that with Zenzile Khoisan. Maganthrie, we're all yours.
Thank you. Lovely to be here again. The first one I'm going to do is called To the Women. It's a call out to the women in South Africa, but everywhere. To the women, open your eyes to who you are. You are more than even you conceive. You hold together whole societies. You create and motivate others. But what about you? Don't get lost, mothers, sisters, daughters, lovers. Keep your eyes open, open to what's coming. Vigilance is required. Complacency must be conquered. Guard against rights being rolled back, hard-won laws repealed, time turned backwards. Be open to what's coming, a time when women give themselves permission, a time when women claim their power, when equality is not some distant fiction. Gather your strength, self, songs, basket of beads, dancing shoes. Choose every moment to be all, not some part of you. Okay,
Thank you, Maganthrie. That was her first poem, and she'll do a second one first. Thanks, Maganthrie.
Okay. This next one I'm going to dedicate to my mom, who unfortunately did pass away 2 weeks ago. But she lives in me. And so I'm dedicating the poem to her. Mother. In her dress, I finally know her. Hair pulled back. The shape of her face surfaces in mine. Her longings and her dreams beat in my breast. Me, daughter rebel, acknowledge her in me. Red hot anger tears on her behalf, have to be bold for her, have to fight for her, their hate deep, have to protect her, this too gentle woman. Feeling this life inside makes me long for her, makes me know her overprotection and obsession. Are you Chinma's daughter? That walk, that talk, that ready smile, it's just like her. Wonder on my behalf. I am of her. No need for shock. Me, daughter rebel, acknowledge her in me.
Thank you, Maganthrie. That was, indeed very moving as we acknowledge the ancestors within us and around us all of the time. Thank you. Maganthrie has a third poem in a back pocket. We're going to have our third poet in a row, Zenzile Khoisan, if you're ready. There we go. And unmute your mic, please.
I'll mute myself.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, once again, this is from the collection, There Are No More Words, and this is the title poem for the collection. And I guess it's where we're at. Living in a time of covert, or is it covert?
Covert,
but,
covert.
Well, I mean, the covert command. And by the way, can we at least have 1 or 2 drops of the good stuff? Please send a care package of the people are parched out here. Okay, it's called There Are No More Words. There are no more words that can pull us back from the Rubicon. This line that has been drawn in the sand, this line of lost idealism, the pieces of freedom dream devoured by vanity and power plays. There are no more words when spring won't liberate us from this excruciating winter of our discontent, state ghosts entering our sacred spaces, piercing the bonds built at the barricades, circling our hearts, lancing at the lodestar. There are no more words when melancholy screeches, when the temple of our familiar offers no repose, collapses into itself under the weight of comrades gone astray, fiercely piercing the last pieces of stubborn love, when all that is left is accusations, recriminations, tears. There are no more words when the time dawns to break the treasured photographs, banish memories of cold nights shared in the warmth of camaraderie we thought would never die. How sad it is to sever the tie, close the chapter. Where does one begin again? Find the world to face the breaking hours when flashes of yesterday's laughter give way to the overbearing sense of loss, when the north wind lays waste to the garden and we are left alone, without comfort, without words. Thank you.
Thank you for that very poem. Thank you, Zenzile. That was Zenzile Khoisan. We are now going to go to the JCFI Ensemble with Ms. Buda bass, Mama D, Jazz Mokoena, and Black Violin. I'm trying to find our quartet. Ah, they're there. To spotlight you. We are all yours. After the JCFI Ensemble, we're going to have Maganthrie's third poem, and then Maria Gakenye has another song for us, and we'll see how we go. It's a jam after all. Madam Quartet, we are all yours. Thank you to the JCFI Ensemble, composed of Mama D, Jazz Mokoena, Ms. Buda bass and black violin. We've just been joined by Boonnie, so please don't go away. You'll need to play one more song for Boonnie, or she will be very upset with us. We're now going to get our third poem from Maganthrie Pillay, followed by Maria Gakenye. Thank you.
Thank you. This next poem is called Returning the Gaze. I return the gaze of you looking at me. Through your specific lens in some exotic or neurotic sense, exhausted, frustrated of your take on me, I look at me. Through my black eyes wide open, I look and listen to the heartbeat, to what you miss or dismiss. I capture me and mine, full screen, full frame. With no shame or blame, my gaze will become dominant. From the margins to the center, my point of view is subversive. Without it, the picture will remain incomplete. So I return the gaze by creating it, by deconstructing your take and recreating my take on me.
Thank you, Maganthrie. That was short and sweet. We're going to break for a spot of music. Maria Gakenye, our star attraction. Maria, turn on your video when you're ready. Maria Gakenye, when you're ready. Okay, Maganthrie, do you have that second poem? Can you quickly do it for me?
Yeah, it's standing right by.
Whenever Maria is ready, she can come back on.
Great.
I don't know what's happening. I'm going.
So this next poem is called The Yellow Knot, and it's dedicated to millions, if not billions of women who just have to deal with what they have to deal with. The Yellow Knot. Auntie in your kungum butu and thali, French sari in colorful paisley print, looking earnestly for the right bus to take you home to the drudgery, the thali that you wear so proudly, that knots you, ties you to your children, your daughter-in-law duties, your husband. Taken off in your widowhood, then it is only a wrenching of the knot that he made on your neck of you to him, with a head of heavy carnations forming a halo, no doubt looking glittering in your Benares, nose ring, toe ring, finger ring, yellow string. You dream of breaking free. You dream of what could have been. The thali you wear now, with fear of it being ripped off your neck on the city streets, precious yellow string. Yet, home is where you want to be. As you wait for the right bus, a roof over your head, food on your table, you settle for this, being born a girl.
Well, Maganthrie, thank you so much for that. We wonder if the Maria Gakenye has been kicked off Zoom and she's trying to get back. And we're wondering if our favorite JCFI ensemble, our quartet, is able to do us one song, especially dedicated to Bunny. Are you able to do us one item, please? And Maria is coming back on. Our ensemble. Okay, Maria, are you ready? Can you sing? We all yours, Maria.
Okay. So this last song is actually a blues. I've chosen a blues backing track, which I'm going to sing over and sing a transcription by Harry Styles Edison. The song is called Centerpiece. The more I'm with you, pretty baby, the more I feel my love increase. I'm building all my dreams around you. Our happiness will never cease. But nothing's any good without you, 'cause baby, you're my centerpiece. Ooh, I'll buy a house and garden somewhere along a country road apiece. A little cottage on the outskirts where we can really find release. But nothing's any good without you, 'cause baby, you're my centerpiece. The boo-ba-day, boo-ba-day-day, ba-ba-ba-doo-ya-say, boo-ba-doo-da, ba-ba-day-ba-doo-ba-day. Ba-ba-de-ba-do, boo-ba-de-ba-do, ba-de-ba-do, ba-de-ba-do, ba-doo-ya-de, boo-ba-de-doo-da, ba-da-ba-ba-doo-ya-de, boo-ba-de, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-de-ba-de, ba-ba, ba-ba-de, boo-ba, ba-de-ba-do, ba-ba-bwe-bwe, boo-ba-de, ba-doo-ya-de, ba-doo-ya-de, ba-doo-ya. Ba-doo-ya free, ba-doo-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ska-doo-ba-da-free, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba, shadoo-bum-bum-ba, ooh-ba-ba-ba, shadoo-ya-doo-day, ooh-bo-ba-day, shadoo-bum-bum-bay, ooh-ba-ba-ba, shadoo-ya-doo-day, ooh-bo-bum-ba-day, bo-ba-day, ba-doo-day, shadoo-ya-doo-ya-day, bo-ban-day, no. Well, Monk said it straight, there's not a time when you wait. You gotta be on, you gotta be strong, the time is here, so trust your life to your ear. There's no one go on, we gotta go on, because the homeland is the place where it happens, and there's no one who can help get it straight, no. Ooh, ba-ba-oo-bay, shadoo-ya-doo-ba-oo-bay, shadoo-ba-doo-ba, ba-doo-ya-doo-ba, shadoo-ba-da, shadoo-bum-bum-bay, ay, ay, oh, ooh-ba-ba-oo-bay, shadoo-ya-doo-day, ooh-ba-ba, ooh-ba-ba, ba-dee, ba-doo-ya-day, ba-doo-ba-day, ba-doo-ba-doo. Ba-ba-ba, ooh-ba-ba, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ooh-ba, Well, Monk said it straight, there's not a time when you wait. You gotta be on, you gotta be strong, the time is here, so trust your life to your ear. You gotta be on, you gotta be strong, because a homeland is the place where it happens, and there's no one who can get it straight. No, oh, 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 ooh, oh, oh. Sing with, gotta pre-pa-praise, gotta pre-pa-praise, gotta pre-pa-da-pa-da-pa-da-pa-da-pa-do, yeah. Skadoo-ba-doo-ba-doo, pre-pa-pre-pa-doo-day. The more I'm with your pretty baby, the more I feel my love increase. I'm building all my dreams around you, our happiness will never cease. But nothing's any good without you, 'cause baby, you're my centerpiece. Ooh, I'll buy a house and garden somewhere along a country road up here. A little cottage on the outskirts where we can really find release. But nothing's any good without you, 'cause baby, you're my centerpiece. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Gakenye. You are indeed our centerpiece today. We love it. Bunny says, watch as she's hot, the sister is with a big heart. And yeah, people love it. Thank you very much. We want to go from Maria Gakenye, who is absolutely fabulous. We hope you'll come back soon. And we want to go to our JCFI ensemble to lead us out today. You need to unmute yourselves. We're finishing early today because two of our performers couldn't join us for various reasons. JCFI Ensemble, Mama D, Jazz Mokoena, Ms. Buda Bass, and Black Violin. We are privileged to have you sing us out. Play us out, sorry. But you can sing too. We want an encore. Absolutely. We love it. Are you exhausted? Are you on strike? Oh, bless. Thank you. People, you must give an encore standing ovation. Jump up and down and scream. Thank you. We'll take the encore, bless. And then we'll close. We won't tax you after that. And it's for Buda, this one. Thank you, JCFI Ensemble. We're very grateful. We can't tax you with any more encores. We've had a fantastic concert. The JCFI Ensemble has Mama D, Jazz Mokoena, Ms. Buda bass and black violin. We want to thank all our supporters, in particular Tekano for the tech support. We want to thank Lebo Ramafoko from Tekano for our wonderful and inspiring and rousing introduction. Maria Gakenye, the musician from Kenya, just awesome voice. Riccardo Temane, Zenariah Barends, and Zenzile Khoisan and Maganthrie Pillay, the poets. I'm Bernedette Muthien. Thank you for joining us for our 13th Performing Lockdown virtual concert. We are going to have our next concert probably in mid-September, if not sooner, but we will keep you posted via social media. It's always tragic when people join towards the end and we concluding, but we'll say a fond farewell to them. So thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful and inspiring music. And to our supporters, we are very grateful. We wouldn't be here as artists without you. Thank you very much. May you be safe, may you be creative, and in between all of the seriousness, have a little bit of fun. Thank you very much.